because I do think, I find this really helps me these days to kind of experience, not to just remember and think about, but to experience um, a wider perspective. The perspective of the web of life that is always there connecting us no matter what happens on our human realm. And I don't mean that as an escape, to escape from what's happening right now. I mean it more as a bringing back the intelligence and the energy that comes from a wider perspective, so that we don't become so myopic, I might say, and so that we can, bring that knowledge and wisdom and compassion and strength back to being helpful here to ourselves and everybody else. So make yourself comfortable. Let yourself settle into the feelings in your body. Notice the sensation between your body and the chair, your feet and the ground. And allow your whole body to be filled with presence, with a sense of spaciousness, silence, and knowing. And also be aware of the space around you. Maybe you can even feel the space around you, within and around you. And imagine that this is a space that connects us all. And that our hands are connected, our invisible hands. And that our hearts are connected. And feel the whole felt sense of your body. Every inch, every pixel of your whole body sensation. And as you look a little closer and you feel your body as a whole, your brain calms down. Just be in this present moment of body feeling. And from this whole field of body sensation, notice your natural breath arising with the in-breath, letting go with the out-breath, falling back into this field of body sensation, for the next breath to brush in naturally. Experiencing every instant of the in-breath and every instant of the out-breath. Your body as a whole, breath breathing in naturally, allowing your body to be breathed. For breath to breathe you. Surrendering to the vast, limitless breath of life. And heighten your awareness of this breath. And look a little closer. Awareness and breath flowing together. Then let yourself rest in this field of awareness. It's limitless, boundless, within, around you, amongst and between us, encompassing everything. And as you let yourself rest into this vast field of spacious knowing, of love, notice breath arising out of this field and falling back into it. Breath breathing all by itself. And when there are thoughts, feelings, worries, frustrations, sadness, just allow those thoughts and feelings arise like gusts of wind in this vast field of awareness, arising out of space and falling back into it. Notice there's this vast, limitless field that connects us all, that is always changing, that is alive and luminous. It's our home, a resource that is always there. Breath arising with the in-breath, letting go with the out-breath. Breath breathing us all. May the benefits of this meditation go out into the world and beyond. I will give over in a moment to Michael, But I wanted to tell you, if you have questions, you can always put them into the chat box, type them in, and then we'll take, in between time to bring out these questions.
Thank you, Radhule, very much. And hi, good evening, everybody. I wanted to just share a little bit with you, and I'm going to share in a moment from a talk I gave to our Sunday group. So those of you that were there on Sunday will hear it for the second time, but I think it speaks to this evening again. Yeah, just like Radley, and I think like many of you, if not all of you, I was certainly feeling sort of pretty overwhelmed with anxiety in the early yesterday evening when I came back from work. And my reaction to sort of overwhelming anxiety is one of contraction. I really have to say I kind of stand back and admire Radley, who feels, I think, something equally, well, who knows, but feels the anxiety really strongly, but it seems to, in her case, motivate her to kind of reach out, as she did with the email that she wrote to you all yesterday evening, and to offer something to kind of help the people. In my case, I kind of contract into myself and sort of implode a little bit. And that's what was happening when I took our little dog Lucy out for a walk. And I was walking up a lane close by Glenda, Surrey, when I kind of it was dusk, and this flutter kind of caught my attention. I looked up and saw this big bird, which I recognized as a great horned owl, just kind of flying and landing on a tree right there. And just the presence of that bird, and just to kind of stop as we did and just look up, it sort of entered my world, sort of punctured this little ball of anxiety that I was kind of knotted up in, and getting more knotted up, just kind of opened it up in some kind of a way. And then when I came back, I went outside the house, and this is where I'd like to start my sharing. Went outside the house, and the back of our house looks it looks to the north, due north. The back of our house looks due north, and above there's a fig tree, a little hill, and then there's a fig tree, and straight up from the fig tree is the star in the same spot every night, and that is the North Star, Polaris. And for me, Polaris has become synonymous with bodhicitta, which Radley referred to earlier. And so I want to talk a little bit about bodhicitta as another. So nature and nature connection kind of gets me out of that ball and connects me with the bigger field. But for me, bodhicitta has become something that does that also. And those of you who aren't familiar with this concept in Buddhism, particularly in Tibetan Buddhism, bodhicitta is the overarching yearning for the welfare of all beings, the desire, the yearning to see all beings free from suffering and experiencing happiness. And Joanna Macy, the Buddhist scholar and activist, friend of ours, says, in the Buddhist tradition, bodhicitta is seen as something very precious, something to treasure and protect. We can think of it as a flame in our hearts and minds that guides us and shines through our actions. And what I would add to that is the sense that bodhicitta is not something that we have to kind of track down and purchase or achieve, but it's more a seed that's already there, or in this in this image, it's an ember in the sacred fire of our heart. It's an ember that's kind of slumbering there. And, you know, we can think about what fans that ember into a flame. And when that ember fans into a flame, it becomes a light that illuminates the way for us and guides us. So becomes both a North Star, but also an inner motivation and an actual nourishment for our action, particularly our action on behalf of others. So it's also seen as our awakening for the sake of all beings. And I think for me, I used to think of this, and I've heard other teachers sometimes talking about this as a sort of linear project, you know, that we need to waken up. So we really need to be on our spiritual path and, you know, do what we need to do to become aware, as fully aware as we possible of our true nature. And then, as in us first and then others. So it's sort of a linear, you know, me first and then others. But I see bodhicitta more like the hands in Namaste, that it's a sort of co-arising together. The more we awaken up towards the peak of the hands held together, the more we awaken, the more effective we are for helping all beings, understanding suffering and understanding what we can possibly do as one person to alleviate another's suffering, to help them find freedom. So it's really something that we do together. It's not just something that I do first and then bring it to you. So how can we awaken bodhicitta? How can we fan the flame into flame, this ember that we carry in our hearts? That's an innate part of our nature, or as in Buddhism, our Buddha nature, our essential nature, who we truly are. And I think one way of seeing it is that bodhicitta arises spontaneously, that ember bursts into flame from both the awareness and the experience of how deeply interconnected we are with ourselves, with others, with our world, and with ultimate reality. So the more we understand our interconnectedness and our interdependence with others and with the world, the more we not just understand that, which is wisdom, but the more we actually experience that, which is the beginnings of compassion, the more that ember bursts into flame. So the more connected we are, you know, the more connected, the more we realize our interconnectedness, we're just going to care more. You know, we're so deeply connected with, you know, people in our lives who we care most deeply about, our immediate family, our loved ones, our pets, our close friends. And arising from that deep connection comes that deep desire to care. And then the more we care, the more we long to do and do all we can to relieve their suffering and promote their happiness. And Radhule talked about the Dalai Lama, and the Dalai Lama really, really prizes bodhicitta very, very highly. And he talks, as you know, about his religion being compassion, and says that, you know, if we want others to be happy, practice compassion. But if we want to be happy, practice compassion. That actually practicing compassion makes both us and others happy. And bodhicitta is not just the intention or the motivation, but it's also the energy that feeds our compassion. It awakens that desire to act, to relieve suffering. And here's that question that Radhule mentioned at the beginning. You know, somebody asked him in an interview, what keeps you from being overwhelmed when you see what's happening to your in Tibet, to your fellow countrymen? And he said, I trust in the sincerity of my heart's intentions. And I've heard him describing his own practice of getting up every morning, very early in the morning. In fact, he gets up at about 3 a.m. and he practices for the first couple of hours. He practices to cultivate bodhicitta, including meditations. And then the interviewer asked him, during the course of your life, what have been your great lessons? And his immediate reply was mostly bodhicitta, altruism. It's helped me a lot. In some ways, you could say bodhicitta has made me a new person, a new man. I'm still progressing, trying. Bodhicitta gives you inner strength, courage, and it's easier to accept situations. So bodhicitta doesn't control the sort of panic that certainly I was feeling yesterday evening. I was thinking I was feeling a bit like, I hear on the radio them talking about the Dow Jones Index, kind of where the markets are and how they fluctuate wildly depending on rumor and speculation in the course of the day. And that really felt like my kind of emotional life yesterday. And I feel in a very different place today, but kind of in some ways equally reactive, happily today in a better direction than yesterday. But how is it that bodhicitta actually helps us in the midst of that? And it's not that it gives us control of our emotional reactivity, but somehow aligning our awareness with our intention and the intention of bodhicitta, it somehow steadies the heart and opens the heart. And it kind of, by being rooted in that sense of our interdependence, it opens us up from that contracted little ball into that sense of interconnectedness. And this is the prayer that the Dalai Lama is said to say every morning as part of his morning prayers and meditation. And it's a prayer from the great Tibetan teacher Shantideva, the Bodhisattva prayer for humanity. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles, and for the boundless multitudes of living beings. May I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all beings are awakened. So with that, I'd like to lead you in a meditation, a guided meditation now, which is a little practice that I call breathing with leaf. And it's a mindfulness practice, but it's a mindfulness practice that brings us into nature connection and helps us, I hope, to realize as an experience our interdependence with the rest of nature. So what I invite you to do is to begin by really looking at this leaf before you here and taking in the detail, noticing how the sunlight illuminates it from behind, the early morning sunlight. Noticing its central vein, noticing its beautiful curved tail. This is the leaf of a Bodhi tree. This is actually the leaf of a Bodhi tree we have on our patio that is a cutting that was a cutting, it's now a tree, that Danjo-san helped me to repot when he was here last time. But it's actually it's a cutting from the original Bodhi tree that Gautama Siddhartha, the Buddha, sat under on the night of his awakening. So he may well have looked up at a leaf like this on that evening that he was sitting under the Bodhi tree and seen sun, maybe in his case, the evening sun, illuminating a leaf that caught his attention. and he noticed the central vein, and he noticed the beautiful spreading veins that are going out to either side, and then the tiny little venules, the tiny little and the different cells and how they're filled with the green of the chloroplasts. And I discovered something really kind of amazing the other day, and that is that chlorophyll, what gives the plant its greenness, but also this amazing substance that transforms, that takes sunlight, uses sunlight, and takes carbon dioxide out of the air and combines it with water and uses the power of the sun to create carbon, which becomes its fuel, but also it exhales oxygen. And that this chemical structure of the chlorophyll in each leaf is identical to the chemical structure of our hemoglobin, the chemical that carries oxygen in our red blood cells. They're chemically identical with one difference, and that is in the case of chlorophyll, it's the element magnesium, which is at the center. In the case of hemoglobin, it's iron that is in the center. But apart from that, we and the leaf are carrying this identical hormone that transforms gases and that just mirror each other in this incredibly beautiful way. And so we're looking at this really miracle of the Bodhi leaf. And as we're looking at it, it is taking in our carbon dioxide and it is transforming it into nourishment, and nourishment for itself, but also nourishment for us. It is breathing out oxygen, which we are breathing in. And we are breathing out carbon dioxide, which it needs for nourishment, which it is breathing in. So I'm going to just lead you in a short little meditation around this. So with this image in your mind and heart, I invite you to close your eyes. So I invite you to close your eyes and to allow your awareness to drop down in your body, all the way down to the ground, and all the way down to the sensations of contact between your feet and the earth, the soles of your feet resting on the earth, the seat of your body resting in the chair. And for just a few moments, to allow your awareness to rest in those sensations of firmness and solidity. And when you have a sense of the connection between your body and the earth, I invite you to allow your awareness to rise up and to fill the whole space of your body, from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head, mindfully aware. And as you're mindfully aware within your body, I invite you to notice where in your body you're most aware of the sensations of breathing. The rising of your body with the inhale, falling of your body with the exhale. Or it may be the sensations of the subtle flow of air moving in and out of your nostrils. Wherever you're most aware of the sensations of breath, allow your awareness to alight on the sensations of breath, like a feather on a wave, rising with the inhale, falling with the exhale. And as your body continues to breathe, I invite you to remember the image of the leaf in front of you. If you like, you can open your eyes and look at it as your awareness continues to rest on the sensations of the rising breath, the falling breath. And either with your eyes open or closed, whichever you prefer, I invite you to know that the sensations of your body's rising with the inhale are the sensations of your body receiving oxygen from leaf, and the sensations of your body's falling with the exhale are the sensations of your body releasing the carbon dioxide, which leaf takes in, which leaf receives, and then leaf releasing oxygen, which you take in, which you receive with the rising of the in-breath, and releasing all with the falling of the out-breath. And I invite you to bring all your awareness now, and I invite all of you now to close your eyes one more time and to bring all your awareness to the sensations of the rising breath, all the way through the rising breath, to the sensations of the falling breath, all the way through the sensations of the falling breath, and in between the sensations of your body on the earth. With the sensations of the rising breath, receiving all as your body rises with the rising breath, and releasing all, letting go of all, surrendering all with the sensations of your out breath. And know that with your exhale, with your falling breath, you're a nourishing leaf, nourishing tree, nourishing forest. And know that with your inhale, your rising breath, you're being nourished by forest, by tree, by leaf. The lungs of the leaf nourishing the leaf of your lungs. The lungs of the leaf nourishing the leaf of your lungs. Leaf and body, body and leaf nourishing each other. And know that in aligning your awareness with the rising of your body, with the inhale, and the falling of your body with the exhale, you're aligning yourself with the reciprocal exchange, the heart of life. And all you have to do is to bring the yes of your awareness, to align the yes of your awareness with the flow of the breath, with the flow of what is. Align the yes of your awareness with the effortless flow of the body's breathing. Allow yourself to rest in the yes of awareness. And may all beings be happy. May all beings be free. May all beings everywhere be safe. And may I become all that I need to become to best enable this to happen for all my relations. Thank you all. Back to you, Radhule. You're muted.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Thank you, Michael. I was wondering before we go over to Danjo-san if if there's anybody who like to comment, or let me just look here at the chat box. And I was especially wondering what you do to connect yourself in times of crisis or of fear or frustration.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I saw some hands coming up, I think, over. Did I? Jessica, was that your cat or was that a hand? That was your cat, maybe. And under Jessica, sorry, I don't see your name. Oh, it's Holly.
Yeah. And Sarah's raising her hand too.
Okay, please just unmute yourself.
I didn't know if you want us to type. I haven't figured that one out yet to speak, but I've been listening for the second time now to Deepak Chopra's 21-day meditation, and it's interesting what comes up on any given day. And today, it was with, I'm going to read the little saying that he wanted us to meditate on, but it was, I celebrate my unity with all life, knowing we are all one. Live in unity. So that was the message of the day today. And it keeps coming up for me. I listened recently to David Bone's really interesting movie called Infinite Potential. And then there was a little Q&A afterward, and all these amazing people speaking. But the big thread was obviously David Bone was trying to prove, actually, he's a physicist, the interconnectedness. So it keeps coming up in really interesting ways to me. And I tried to think about that all through the day to day, because like everybody else, I was so nervous and just anxious. And I was like, how can I I don't know, make sense of it. Well, how can I make myself feel better? And that was, and then you spoke about it too. So it was really lovely. Came full circle in a way for me. The unity that we should be seeking, and I hope we get.
Beautiful. Thank
You
you.
know, I had a thought about this. I think in the way the country sometimes goes in its diversion, every man just and every woman for themselves and against each other, it's so much the opposite of that. And I think it's in a way living against the flow of life. The flow of life is interconnection. And so that's why we don't feel good, when there is this us versus them. And I think when we have this yearning for unity of all, of interconnectedness of all, which comes through our service and our compassion, then we feel happier again. It's just a little side comment. Sarah, you wanted to say something. You have to unmute yourself. Okay.
I'm on mute now?
You're fine.
We can hear you.
Way, baby Jesus. I am so blessed that I am in gardening 6 days a week. And what I treasure is, and I'm honest to God, you think might be nuts, is the interconnection of all life, right? Okay, so I'm there gardening, and I love watching how things evolve. Thank you. I mean, I can't begin to explain all the stuff of nature, but it's all my heart desire. I mean, honest to God, I think I mentioned earlier about like little worms digging into the ground. Oh my gosh, that and all the interconnection of life. And I'm so thankful that I experienced that.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Maybe
Sarah.
I will, we have some more time for questions and comments and thoughts and poems later, but I wanted to see where Danju-san is.
He left and came back in again, I think.
Is he back in? Danju-san, are you here?
Yes, I'm just now in the car.
In the car.
All right. And here's Miyoko, our translator.
Yeah. 皆さんお元気でしょうか
Hello from Japan, Hiroshima.
今日は美術館に行きまして、今美術館から車の中からお話をしております。
So I just came out from the art museum closer to my temple, and I am speaking to you from my car, so I can connect more with you.
なぜ美術館に行ったかというと、とても美しいものを見たいという気持ちがありました。
Kind of the reason, really my desire, yearning to visit museum is, it's kind of, I wanted to see beautiful things. I wanted to encounter the beauty.
私たちの心の中には美しいものに感動するという心を持っています。
So our heart I believe our heart has capacity to, when we see the beauty from our heart, there's kind of feeling of awe-ness, like almost an echoing between the beauty and my heart, what I've been seeing.
私はラドリーさんとマイケルさんにお会いしたときにとても感動しました。
So this is the same feeling that I recall when I met Radhule and Michael. Ah, so I met the beauty of them inside.
でもそれは美しい心に感動したんですね。
So my awareness, like, you know, when you see awe, a feeling of awe, it's an encounter with the others in a beautiful heart.
はい、鳥というのはとても美しい羽を持っています。
So I'd like to speak a little bit about this awness that we all have in our heart, that we echo when we see, or when we meet, or when we encounter with the beauty. And so I would like to bring the story to share with you about the bird today.
私はその中でもとりあえずクジャクの羽がとても好きです。とても美しいものを感じます。
I drawn to the feather of a peacock, and I drawn to the beauty of the feather.
もし皆さんが鳥の羽を探そうと思ったら山の中に入っていってみてください。
So, if you would like to see this beautiful feather, beautiful birds, I encourage you to go to the forest or to go to the woods.
彼らの肉体はないのに羽だけは残っていってます。美しい羽だけは残ってますね。
So in the forest or in the woods, sometimes I find a feather on the ground, or a feather on the autumn leaves on the ground, and
美しいものだけが残されていきます。
sometimes I notice that the birds departed from this earth, and remaining the feather, beautiful, beautiful feather on this earth or on the ground, or sometimes on the top of old autumn leaves.
私たちの肉体もいずれこの世から去っていきます。
So humans, we are also the same. Someday we depart from this earth. It's not forever.
でも私たちには何か美しいものが残せると思ってみてください。
So before this, you know, we eventually depart from this earth, but let's focus on our heart. Beautiful heart. Heart can see the beauty of this world. Heart can engage the beauty. Like Michael's body leaves. Our heart can see the beauty of
美し
every
い笑顔はもちろんですけれど、
So of course, you know, our smile
でも
is
それ
beautiful.
以上に美しい心を残していきましょう。
So we can smile at each other. And yet, more than that, it's a beautiful, our heart that we can leave when we depart from this earth.
クジャクの
Our
羽の
beautiful
羽の
heart.
ような美しさに合わせて、
It's almost like a parallel to the image of a feather of a peacock, or maybe there's a body trees, the leaves on the ground when it fell off. The time came, and leaves from the body tree, still remaining the beautiful lines, shape.
もし私たちが美しいクジャクの羽を今日一日だけでも思い描くことができたら、今晩一晩でも思い描くことができたら、私たちの体はピーコックと同じような美しい心に変わるでしょう。
So let's kind of stay with this image, like just one streak of feather from the peacock or leaf from body tree. Took a time to stay with it, maybe moments or maybe an hour or maybe. So if we starting to do this practice, we can depart like a peacock, leave the beautiful feather on the ground quietly, or leave from body tree on the ground.
私がブッダの心にとらわれたのは、惹かれたのは、ブッダの心が美しかったからです。
So I bring this, I share my experience with this kind of a feather from departed peacock, or a leaf on the ground from body tree. It's just like an image of Buddha's heart and heart itself. This image drawn to become a monk, and then this is the reason to be connected with this Buddha's heart. Body, もう一度。イ
エス様も同じ心ですね。
So this is I don't describe this specifically. This is like, Buddha's heart, or maybe Allah, or maybe Christ heart. We are one. There is no difference. And beautiful heart can see the beauty of the world.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Danjo-san. This was a beautiful image, the image of the leaf and the image of the peacock feather and the heart. And, it just kind of reminds me how everything is so impermanent, so perishable, and in beauty, in its liveness and its deathness, you might say, and its liveness again.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, together we can hold it all. You know, I think today I felt the last few days quite a bit of grief. And I feel that image of the leaf and of the peacock feather, it's a little bit like, you know, brushing by my heart to make it a little bit less sad and feel a little bit more alive. So thank you so much. I was wondering if some of you like to add to this, either a question or a comment or what your experiences. I was wondering if maybe if I'm not the only one who experiences a sense of sadness and grief and also maybe a little bit of beauty and impermanence at this time.
And Radley, there are some comments in the chat box.
Would you look at it?
Yeah, but if some people have written in there some of the practices that they do too.
Oh, okay. So here's Terence Weimer. I do macro and close-up photography of plants that is based on the Japanese aesthetic of wabi-sabi. And you can look at terenceweimer.com. Thank you for the image of the Bodhi leaf and the meditation. Thank you so much, Terence.
Well, thank you. I thought that meditation was wonderful, and I really do appreciate it. And the idea of that, the idea behind Wabi Sabi is that nothing is perfect and nothing is finished and nothing lasts. So I think it pertains very much to what Danjo-san was saying about the peacock feather and what Michael was showing with the Bodhi leaf tree. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Beautiful.
And here's a message from Skyhawk to everybody. And I will paraphrase. She brings up a really important point that so often when there's global trauma, it brings up personal trauma for us, or maybe other global trauma that has happened in our family. I have to say, for me, you know, my grandparents were in Nazi Germany and were quite harassed there. And that brings up a lot for me, what's happening now. And I know I'm not the only one here who experiences that. And so whether it's our own personal childhood or our family traumas, I know some friends who have come from totalitarian regimes who are really triggered now. So I think trauma comes up for us. And I think being in community and beauty can really help us in those times, and grieving together. And here Skyhawk says it's nature, community, sangha, being creative, exercise, good sleep, hygiene, guided meditations, EMDR, therapy can all help. And I think that's important to realize, to really allow that help in. I know last Friday, actually, I was not in such good a place. My stomach really acted up and I wasn't doing well. And so I really took the weekend off and did a lot of beach walks. And it really helped. So I think now I watch myself a little bit more closely, how much I can do. And here Fumio said, in addition to touching my cat's belly, I wake up to practice Tibetan rites and do some breathing exercises, because even anything happens, I think we can somehow control breathing and train ourselves not to be so controlled by outer things in our mind. And I think that's very true. I think working with the breath can really help us to calm the mind down, and we can either become more concentrated with the breath or sometimes go more out and spacious. And both of it really helps. So I was wondering, is there anybody else who would like to comment? Oh, here's Denise. Oh, she just wanted to say goodbye.
Hi, Radhule?
Yeah?
Okay,
Oh,
Katya.
I just wanted to express gratitude to Danjo-san, and I felt that your heart really like left me with a peacock feather.
Oh,
I feel like you're leaving it behind in this short interaction, and I get to carry it around now. Thank you.
thank you, Katya. Oh, you have a peacock feather there. Show us the peacock feathers. Lovely. Thank you, Alex and Katya.
Radhule,
Yeah?
I wanted to compliment Miyoko for her translation and the soothing quality of her voice. It was very moving and very beautiful for her to translate his words, and I appreciated that very much. And the other thing I wanted to comment, I work with senior citizens. It's been my entire career in Santa Barbara. And because of this pandemic, the one thing that we are missing, and that is very anxiety producing, is that we're no longer able to just embrace and hold one another. And there are some of my members in the program I run that haven't touched another human being in 7 months. And that is taking a serious toll.
Thank you, Maria. And I was this morning early together with a group of non-profit leaders. And we talked about the main issues in town. And one is senior citizens who are very alone in their houses and often can't connect. Some can, very active, others can't. And I was wondering if you could email me, because I want to talk to you, because we were actually thinking on how to add another meditation on this platform, and how to connect, bring it out to the many who live alone in their houses or in retirement homes and so on. So if you would email
Absolutely.
me at radhule@gmail.com, that would be great.
I will.
When I was just reporting on this talk from this morning, it seems senior citizens, people with addiction problems, it's a big problem right now, because that's sometimes the one thing we hold on to. Yes. And parents with little children, who try to work and have little children. And so maybe to hold all these people in our hearts that feel challenged at this point. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, Radhule. And thank you, Michael.
Anybody else liking to?
Yes,
Jessica.
Yeah, thank you all so much. And Radhule and Michael and Sok and Danjo. And yeah, I just, along with, how meditation can settle the mind, I've just been really aware of my nervous system hyperarousal, especially this past week, and like the flood of cortisol and adrenaline and the body, and this kind of like fight, flight, freeze, response manifesting in different ways. And I feel like the experience of receiving meditation today was so regulating, and and especially that it needed to be this experience of interconnectedness of meditation in community. And thank you very much.
Jessica.
Thank you, Jessica. And I guess I want to thank all the many others who help in this community. You, the students at UCSB, and Harrison, the students in schools who teach mindfulness there, and Alex teaching to so many school kids, and the many others who I don't know what you are doing. I wanted to be kind to your neighbor, you know, or call an old friend, and to really, yeah, that's really important at this point.
Alex.
So, yeah, Michael.
No, Alex has her hand up.
Oh,
Alex.
I just wanted to say that when we were talking about the beauty in the heart and the beauty of in the heart and the interconnectedness, I've just noticed that since I'm teaching the children in their homes right now, that they're feeling the anxiety too, but a lot of them have brought their pets to the Zoom and they're holding their pets. And it just reminded me of that beauty, because the dog sees the beauty in the child and they're both breathing. You can always see. And the kids are always fascinated by, you know, putting their heads even on the dog belly and watching. So
there's Fumio's cat.
yeah.
Oh.
So I just wanted to say, when I watched it today, it brought joy to me, and it made me think of this whole conversation.
Beautiful.
I do that too. Like we were Japanese group in Los Angeles, actually connected with Japan. We do meet on Friday on Zoom, and then we do the 22 push-up together, and then prayer for rain, because we have so many fires in California. And after that, we take picture with animals. So people who don't have pets, they can bring their stuffed animal or like loved one or anybody in the house, and then that kind of make a participant double. And that means like we can reach out. Sometimes we are living in a household. I have my boyfriend. Sometimes we don't talk so much because we are two together in the same house than before, but we kind of have our own schedule and a job online. But sometimes we should really, talk. That's can be on the phone or can be on Zoom, or sometimes neighbor on the street, like wearing masks still, but we can still talk. And then there are, lots of unhappy people, sometimes angry people, but we can still be nice to each other, I think.
Thank you, Fumio. And I wanted to bring out Marsha's comment. She says she feels a lot of moral distress and also ancestral terror from the Holocaust. And she appreciates bringing that in. And I think that's important, that we in our spirit bring in, even if you're holding community and beauty and all of that, to hold those memories also, whether it's the Holocaust, whether it's the kids at the border, whether it's immigrants who are scared, whether it is racial injustice, and to just really, I think the more we are full and connected with the interdependence, the more we can afford to include everybody. I was wondering if, just as a closure, I know Ibrahim has always a poem up his sleeve. Do you have a poem up your sleeve, Ibrahim? Maybe not today.
Yes, I do. In fact, I was gonna say about last night. I had an anxiety before I went to bed, and I couldn't sleep for a while. I sat up on the bed and looked at an image of Mona Lisa next to my bed. And the smile, it just talked to me and said, you know, life is not worth it without a smile. So a few years back, I was marveled by the image of the Mona Lisa. So I wrote a little poem dedicated to the picture of Mona Lisa. And I would like to share that with you tonight. It's getting better tonight, so hopefully it'll continue. I called the poem A Smile Face, a tribute to the Mona Lisa. A mystery beneath the eyeful face, hiding, shying away from a violent world, a smile that makes the moon blush, a true euphoric luxury in a sad world, offering tranquility and serenity, beauty indeed, hidden beneath all beauties. I ask, would the face reveal the hidden treasure? I wonder, would the smile expose its poetic nature? I ponder. Yet the smile and the face will employ the eyes of humanity forever. So that relaxes me a bit. And I was able to sleep at least for like 3-4 hours. And this morning it was better news in TV, you know, that made me blissful, actually. I was blessed by the experience that I had the night before.
Ibrahim, could you show us your face so we can put a face to your poem?
You know, I'm trying to cut my hair, but it's not stable. That's why sometimes it's better not to show my face because the hair is kind of messy, you know.
Oh, I like your messy hair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abraham.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, everybody. That was a really lovely time together.
Thank you all.
I think now I can. Huh?
Thanks to Danjo.
Thanks to Danjo.
Miyoko.
Thank you very much.
Miyoko, thank you.
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。
Arigato.
ようこさんありがとうございました。
男女さんありがとうございました。来週またよろしく。
ありがとうございます。
I just want to say I have plants for people who want them.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Picking up them at the Unitarian Society and their GMs, and I'll send that image to Roddy, and then you can decide if you want them.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night.
Stay
safe.
Bye.
Everybody.
Good night, Peacock family.
Good night. Thanks, Michael.
おやすみなさい。あ、これからです。
Mary Gold, I didn't see your hand up. I'm so sorry.
That's
Good night,
okay.
Mary.
That's okay.
Thank you, Radhule. See you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Daniel-san.
you.
Thank you, Miyoko. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
I love you.
I
Love
love
you too.
Everybody.
Oh, Harrison. How do you feel inside the sea?
I feel wet.
Oh, yeah. Don't go up just now.
Hold your breath.
Hold your breath.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.